Today we got Sony's first ever DSLR camera they made, which is going to be the Sony A100 right over here. I have been shooting with this camera for the past couple of days and I kind of hate it, to be honest. This camera has been a complete nightmare to shoot with. But first, let's start from the beginning. Today we got the first DSLR camera that Sony has ever released, and 4 lenses for under $200. Let's check it out. We're gonna go over all the pricing information, the camera and the lenses throughout the video. So we got 2 boxes on here. Now I got 2 lenses from KEH. Both of them are in the ugly quality, which means that it's probably fine. KEH I usually have good experiences with, but we don't know what the quality is gonna be like. There's probably some, scratches, maybe dents on these lenses, but we're gonna see. We're gonna take a look at these lenses, but they should at least be functional, which is what I care about. Now, the reason why I got into the Sony A mount is gonna be mainly because no one really cares or remember this mount on here. Now, when it comes to a lot of camera gear, cameras, lenses, they're all so expensive right now. But this A-mount system right here is dirt cheap to getting into. You can get lenses, cameras for super cheap. And from what I've seen online, the quality seems really good. First, let's take a look at the camera. And the camera I got it from eBay for suspiciously cheap price. So let's open this up real quick. The reason why I jumped on this deal right here was that the camera seemed like it was reasonably priced, but it came with 2 lenses. One of them is just a kit lens, which I don't really care that much about. But the second lens that came with it's actually like a professional lens that he was kind of giving away. So that's one of the reasons why it got me into it. Now, just straight out of the box, it kind of smells weird, so I'm kind of grossed out by it. But the camera on the pictures did look disgusting also, so hopefully the guy cleaned it up before sending it over. So first, we get our first lens on here. Let's take a look at it. Oh my god, this is gross. Jesus. Oh. So we get our first lens on here, which just has a bunch of residue on it, so we're definitely gonna have to clean this. But this is the kit lens right here, which is the 18 to 70 millimeter. Now the camera we're looking at is the Sony A100, which was the first DSLR that Sony released. So it's gonna be an APC sensor, so you gotta kind of multiply everything by 1.5. So this is more like a 28 to 100 millimeter lens. But this is our first lens right here. I mean, optically it seems fine, just the outside is pretty gross on there. I'm definitely gonna have to wash my hands after doing this, but we can clean the lenses. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so the rest of the stuff actually came in a camera bag, which I didn't expect it to come with. But on the side we have the charger for the battery. Unfortunately, this doesn't use any of the newer batteries. It uses older BC VM10 battery. So we're gonna be just using this. I don't have any extras of those batteries. I've never seen it before, but here is the camera and the lenses, and they look pretty gross straight out. But so this is the lens. Oh, there's the camera body on it. It comes with, here we go. It looks gross, but look at that right here. So this whole thing, the camera, the 2 lenses, I got for $100. And which this camera seems to be going around that much. They're going for like $50 to $60. But this lens right here, this is a Tokina 28 to 70 millimeter f2.8. So this is almost like a professional grade lens right here. If you try to get something like this on a Sony E mount or whatever, you're looking for thousands of dollars. And I looked it up. This one was, if you buy it individually on eBay, it was around $160, which again is very cheap. But with this whole setup being $100, it's pretty crazy. So I mean, if we look at this right here, you can see what the camera and lens looks like, and optically it looks pretty good. There might be like some fungus in there or something you get with these older cameras. Let's see, first of all, is it gonna open up? So I'm gonna press the power button and it turns on. So we got power right away. We can set the time on here. Oh, fuck, I set to 2019. Ah, shit. Okay, so we're gonna have to change the time later. But as you can see, up there's. As you can see, it's f2.8, which is pretty crazy, but oh my god, that autofocus sound. And one bad thing about this camera that's gonna be annoying is that it doesn't use SD cards. It uses compact flash cards. So over here, we're gonna have to stick a compact flash card. Let me just grab one real quick. I'm just gonna grab one from my 1D Mark II, which is also another cheap camera that you can get. I already made a video on this camera. You can check it out on my channel. But let's put this compact flash on here. There we go. See, I might need to format it. There we go, 1593 shots. So, okay, we gotta set and there we go, we got a picture. And there we go. We got our first picture on here. It seems to be functioning. We got a great professional grade lens on here, which is crazy to think about. But obviously the camera's a little dirty, but we can clean that up. But now let's check out the other lenses we got. Also, let's take a look at some of the other stuff it came with, because it came with a couple other accessories. It came with a battery charger. It also came with a flash, which this seems like a pretty old school flash on here. I don't know if I'll use this really, but it's a Minolta flash, which is, you know, what this company used to be. So this camera was originally, I believe it's called the Minolta something 5, but then Sony bought out Minolta, and then they turned all their cameras, lenses into Sony lenses. So that's where the Sony journey began with the DSLR interchangeable cameras. So this flash, I don't know if I'm going to use, especially since this camera, I believe, has a pop-up flash. Let me see how you turn it on. Yep, here we go. We can turn it on, and this has a pop-up flash on there. So I don't know if I really need something like this, but it's cool that it comes with it for free. There's some lens clean wipes in there also. Okay, that's good to have. Let's see if he gave us any other goodies. He gave us a lens cap also. I don't know if there's a cap for the body. I'm not seeing that, which does suck a little bit. That means we don't have a way to protect the camera, so that's something extra I'm gonna have to buy. But besides that, it seems like it's a pretty good deal for $100 to have a professional lens, professional camera right on there. Now let's take a look at the lenses we got from KEH. So let's open this up. Remember, both of them are gonna be in the ugly quality. So, and here we go. We got two lenses. And here we go. We got two lenses on here. Both of them are going to be primed, which is very important. Whenever you're buying an older camera, always try to get fast primes with those lenses. It can be something as simple as a 50mm 1.8, because stuff like that is going to give you the best look. And the thing to keep in mind with these older cameras is that usually if you keep them at their base ISO, you'll get pretty good image quality. Once you go off of that, once you start bumping up the ISO on these cameras, that's when you start really losing the image quality, and that's where the newer cameras do a lot better. But in the base ISO, you do a lot better with these cameras. So always get fast primes whenever you go with an older camera. Okay, so let's take a look at these lenses. So first off, we got they're all wrapped up. All right, so first we got the Minolta 28mm f2.8 right here. Now I got this one because I just wanted a small little prime that I can use with this camera. Again, 28mm 2.8, very small lens. And again, I have a 28 technically on here, but it's on a zoom lens, and especially older zoom lenses are never really that good. But if we put it on here, look at that. Tiny little setup on here. And then with this, boom, easily take pictures with it. Pretty nice to see focusing. And again, this was ugly quality. Oh, I see why. So there is a bit of a crack on here on the glass compartments of the lens. Let's see if we can focus on it. There is a bit of a crack, but who cares? I mean, optically it seems like it's good. Yeah, the lens itself is very good looking, so I mean, who cares if this, you know, distance metering has a little scratch on it, you know? But this one, guess how much it was? So this one right here, a 28mm 2.8 prime, nice little small camera with small little lens. This one was $20. $20. If you try to get the Sony version of this now, I know because I tried to buy one of these recently, I think it was around $200 to $300. This is $20. So now let's take a look at the other lens. Okay, here we go. And now we got ourselves a nice little nifty 50, and this isn't a 51.8. This is a 50 1.4 autofocus. Is this Minolta? Yep. Minolta lens. And guess how much this was? This was $50. For $50, you're not getting a 51.8, you're getting a 51.4. And again, this was ugly quality. I don't really know why this one was ugly quality. This one literally has nothing wrong with it. It looks pretty mint. Let's put it on here. Let's see if it works, I guess. We got 50 on here and seems to work great. That's the cool thing with Gauge, that like even if it says ugly, you're like, oh my god, it's gonna be a terrible lens. This is a pretty good setup right here. And exactly, this is, and again, this is only a $50 lens. The camera, give or take, you want to say like it's $50. So for $100, you have pretty much a professional setup on here. And this camera has a lot of cool features. This camera was one of the first cameras to have steady shots. So you have in-body stabilization with this camera. You have a full-on optical viewfinder in the back. You have an LCD screen on there. You can shoot raw images with this camera. This camera also doesn't have a CMOS sensor like the newer cameras has. It has a CCD sensor on it. But still, that doesn't mean that you can't get great images with this camera. This one has a flash shoe on it. So guess what? You can attach any professional lights to it, get professional looking photos. You know, and the cool thing with this camera system that one of the reasons why I want to really showcase in my channel is that it's cheap. A lot of cameras nowadays, because of inflation and everything, is gonna be so expensive to pretty much, you know, buy any camera, any lenses nowadays. But with this system here, you can have a professional setup for $100. That's amazing. So now let's stop talking about the camera. Let's go take some pictures. A couple of days with this camera. And like I said, it does have a very unique look to it. Since it's using that older sensor technology on it, a lot of the pictures that are coming out of it are just pictures that like kind of remind you of the past. You know, but even though the image quality itself isn't really good and kind of looks shitty, it's the type of shitty that just makes you think of the older times where maybe your father had an older camera, or maybe you used to shoot with an older camera that had a sensor similar to this camera. So those pictures kind of take you back. So if you're trying to, you know, take pictures that kind of have this nostalgic vibe to it, then this camera does do a pretty good job. Now this, if you shoot at 4,000th of a second, then you get some pretty much darker spots at the top. I'm guessing the shutter on this camera just isn't holding up. Maybe it's about to break or something. So because of that, I can't shoot at 1/4000th of a second, which isn't a huge deal because you're not going to be shooting that high of a shutter speed anyways. But what is an issue is the shutter button does seem to have some problems where, you know, if I'll just like press it trying to get a picture going and the camera won't take a picture. Take the shot. Now that is also another issue with this camera, is that in order to be able to take a picture with it when you have the autofocus on, is that the camera has to think that it's in autofocus, and the autofocus on this camera just isn't really any good. It's actually pretty terrible, especially on these Minolta lenses that I've been using. The autofocus is just downright horrible. The other zoom lens that I got with the camera, the Tokyo 20-70mm, that one does seem to work better. But on these primes, the autofocus is just terrible. So you're spending half the time trying to take a picture and it's not focusing. And then because it's not focusing, it's not taking the picture and you're missing the moment. So that was very frustrating, and that kind of removed the fun of shooting with something like that, is that it's just very hard to focus with this camera. And a lot of times I would take a shot where the camera thinks it's in focus, but it wasn't in focus. The optical viewfinder on this camera just is very small, and it's hard to tell if your picture's in focus. So manual focusing on this camera is also very hard, but you can still get some decent looking pictures using this camera. Now the ISO performance on the camera is also terrible. Once you go over pretty much ISO 400, the noise patterns on the camera are insane. It looks like you're at like 128,000 ISO with a current camera. So low light performance on this camera is terrible. Plus, it makes it even harder to autofocus. And the maximum ISO you can do is 1600 on this camera. So it is not a low light beast to say with this camera. You can only really shoot with it on daylight, but if you do shoot it at nighttime, you know, if you have a fast prime like the 1.4, you can get away with it. And a trick that you might have noticed that I use on these night shots is that what you do is that you just make the picture look, what you do is you just make the picture black and white, and then it hides the noise anyway. It gives it like a nice grain look, so it actually looks kind of pleasant on there. But again, we're doing that just for necessity. We're not doing that for any aesthetic reason. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you liked it. Let me know in the comment section below, should I keep this camera? I might just sell it on KDH or MPH or whatever that website is, because I don't know if I like it, to be honest. Like, it does have a cool look to it, but at the same time, it's just really annoying to use. I think if the autofocus worked on this camera, I would be more open to it, but I'm probably gonna end up selling it. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comment section, maybe if one of you guys is more vast in the A-mount Sony cameras, because I might just get like a different A-mount Sony camera and just replace this with it, because this camera is pretty terrible from what I've seen. Like, I seen camera like the, I think it's the A700, that's the full frame version of this camera, so that one might be a better camera to buy. But let me know in the comment section below which of these Sony cameras actually has good autofocus on there. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.